everybody, I'm going to show you today as quickly as I can, how to do the food web activity. So you're going to go to your materials section of your science class and hit food web activity. When you open it up, you should get the directions page. Please make sure that you are reading the directions when you do an assignment. So this one says create a food web. Use the pictures and information in the Google drawing attached here to make a food web of this ecosystem. You may move these pictures around, resize them, and put arrows in. You'll have to click the edit button to open your drawing and then remember to hit submit when you're finished. So to get into your document, you have to click my document. I'm using my daughter here as a guinea pig. When you first click into it, you will see nothing. Don't be alarmed. If you wait, there it is. If you wait a couple of seconds, you will see it. And you could certainly work on it right here if you want to, but I think that's harder than it needs to be. I highly recommend clicking your edit button right here, and that will open the drawing up in a new tab. It will make it bigger. It will make it much easier to work with. All right. So basically what you have here are pictures of all of these various different things that are part of this ecosystem. And you can move all of these biotic and abiotic factors from this ecosystem around. You can resize the boxes. So if you need it to fit, it's there. I can see this whole thing. I've been playing around grading this. And if it's hanging off the page a little bit, that's okay. If you wanted to print it when you were done, it's only going to print the part that's on the checkerboard here. But for my grading purposes, I'm not going to print it. So stuff can even be wherever, and that's just fine. Usually when we make a food web, we want to start with our producers on the bottom. So I'm going to move stuff around. The wild rose is a plant that's going to be a producer. I maybe want to make that just a little bit bigger. All right, it's my important producer. I'm going to put it on the bottom here. The sun kind of gives the producers energy. So maybe you don't have to put any arrows in for the sun, by the way, but we're just going to have it on this food web kind of showing there. We also have, what do we have here? The bacteria and fungus. They can just kind of hang out wherever. You don't need to put arrows in for those two either, because we know that they kind of go to everything. So let's see. So we're going to have the California blackberry plant is a producer in this ecosystem. And what else? We got grass that's a producer. And then we have things that eat the plants. We have our herbivores. So I'm going to kind of put them in the next layer. And then I'm going to have my, and maybe I want to kind of overlap things. That's okay. I want the butterfly to fit in here. That's okay. All right, I'm not going to do too much more here, but you get the idea. And then the last thing, once you get everything kind of positioned where you want it, the last step is to put in the arrows. So putting in the arrows just takes a little practice to get your dexterity correct here to put in the arrow. Now remember, you want your arrow to go from, the arrows show energy flow. So they go from what is eaten to what eats it. That's the most important part, right? So you're going to go up here and select an arrow. You see how that gives me this little plus. So I'm going to click on the thing that is eaten. So in this case, I want to show that the grasshopper eats grass. All right. So I'm going to click on the grass, and then I'm going to hold my mouse button down and drag it to the grasshopper. And that puts a nice arrow in there for me like that. I had to practice this a little bit. If you're not using a regular mouse, if you're using the mouse pad on a Chromebook, I'm not sure, you're going to have to practice this a little bit. If I just click this plus, it just throws in any old arrow. And then what you can do is, if the white arrow, the white crosshairs, move it around. If you wait for the black plus, that allows you to resize it and move it. Make sure you can make it longer. I got to get that black plus. You can make it shorter. You can change the direction of it. So if you're able to do the thing where you can click and drag and unclick, that's the easiest way. So let's see. My mouse eats the California blackberry. So I'm going to click on the California. Oh, see how I'm getting a blue box there? I need to go re-choose my arrow here. And see how I get the purple dots? That's how I know that the arrow tool is working. So I'm going to click from the California blackberry, drag it to the mouse, and unclick. And that's how I put my arrow in. The mouse also eats grass. I still have my arrow tool working. You see those black crosshairs and the purple dots. I'll click on the grass, drag to the mouse. This works really easy if you have good control of your mouse. The bee eats nectar from the wild rose. So I'm going to click on the wild rose and drag an arrow all the way over here to the bee. There's going to be lots of arrows going everywhere. It might get to be a little bit messy, but that's okay. Once again, you don't have to put any arrows in for the sun or the decomposers here. We just kind of let them hang out on the margins. Oh, I drew an arrow there. If you want your cursor back, you click your cursor here, And then I can drag and drop my pictures, and I can resize my pictures again. All right. So drag the pictures around, practice making your arrows, see if you can figure that out. Again, the arrow goes from what is eaten to what eats it. We're showing that the energy goes from the roses to the bee. Bees make honey. And so, for example, bears are going to eat the honey. So at some point here, you'll want a line from your bee. Oh, I didn't click the arrow button. Got to get my arrow from my bee to my bear all the way across here. It can go over other pictures. That's fine. But you just got to practice making those arrows. All right. When you're done, don't forget to click back into the Schoology tab and hit submit. Hit submit when you're done, and that way it tells me that you're done, and I will know that I can grade it. If you hit submit and you decide there's stuff you want to change, you can always hit unsubmit, and that will make it so I don't go grade it. All right. So there it is. Have a good day. Good luck.